This is looking at the Grove from the dock. You can see on the left is Carousel, which was called the Silver Slipper. Then in the center there is what's now Holly House, and the fire department house is off to the right with Silver Bell way down to the far right. The community house is right in the middle there now. That came over after the hurricane, but all the wreckage in front is from the hurricane. Section of the intersection of Surf and Bayview, and that's Silver Bell, and you can see the water, the bay to the right, the water where everything got washed out. The corner of Shadows off to the left. It's that same intersection. You're probably standing right in front of Bangkok, and that Shadows slightly to the right in the picture, Silver Bell right to the right, and Pride House is in the far back, and this is where Surf Walk got washed into the bay. Intersection of Surf and Bay. This is looking straight down where Surf Walk was, towards the bay, with Silver Bell on the left, and the houses in the bay that are from Surf Walk. That two-story house shows up in some other pictures. These hurricane pictures are courtesy of Shirley and Bob Manell, and they're a wonderful collection. This is Pride House, and that's obviously a house that had been next door and skewed around by the waters that came around through Surf and around the bottom of the hills there. So that's Pride House just at the time of the hurricane, just after the hurricane. This is another shot of Pride House from the south, sort of down from where the dune should be, and there's that house sort of in the corner of it, and another house off to the right where Surf Walk is. You see some houses and other pictures where Surf Walk got badly washed away. This is looking from Surf Walk back towards the area of Pride House. That little house on the right, or the top of a house on the right with the chimney, is Pride House, and the house on the left is the corner one that's banged into it, and then this house was obviously on Surf, and the water went through to the bay, which would be to your right. This is looking down at the hotel from where the dunes should be, looking from the ocean side. That's a store off to the right. The building's still there. That survived. And this is Duffy's Hotel from the ocean side. I haven't really been able to figure out quite where this house is. It's obviously another casualty of the hurricane, but its location, since most of these pictures were taken around Surf Walk, I would suspect that it was one of the Surf Walk houses that got badly washed away. There is a house on Surf Walk that looks something like this if they rebuilt in the same style. Here's a shot of Cherry Grove from the dock looking east, and you can see that a lot of the houses there are the same houses that have been there for quite some time. But of course there's no bulking heading. Sort of hard to tell exactly when this picture was taken, but I'd suspect it was pre-hurricane, because I think some of these houses did get washed into the bay down towards Doctor's Walk. East Walk, sort of in front of Henry Wall's house. This is what we've seen across the street. Pinto family was building their first house on a little plot of land that they bought there. And that's probably Ted and Michael Pinto's grandfather and family up constructing that house. The house on the right was the original Harrington hut, which is where Jack Dowling's house is now. So the house is finished. Families moved in. This is the style that you used to see all over the Grove. In fact, one of the few left is the Anna Korb house over on Doctor's Walk, corner of Doctor and Lewis, but with a full roof over the porch. And again, this Harrington hut on the right, and those trees that are there have grown enormously. This is 1925, first summer in this house. There's a side view. As you can see, most of the houses over here were very simple, just little places to come, be at the beach, get away from the city, get away from town, and enjoy a summer with very simple, basic pleasures. So the summer has begun. This is probably a few years later because the house has been covered with shingles, and everybody outside is getting ready to have a day in the sun, I guess. That's Harrington Hut behind. And again, this is the Pinto house before the 1938 hurricane. Now this is looking up East Walk. It's
got to be sometime in the 20s. It's before the hurricane. All those houses were washed away in 1938. The only house that remained was the house called Harrington Hut. And there were no houses on the other side of East Walk. Actually, these houses were all in what was called Cedar Grove Park at that time. So that's the west side of East Walk in the 20s, late 20s, early 30s. Whether these are the Harringtons of Harrington Hut or just some ladies visiting for the day, we don't really know. But this is Harrington Hut in the 20s, which stood on the property where Jack Dowling's house is, and was the only house left on East Walk after the hurricane. After the hurricane, Ted and Michael Pinto's family, grandparents, rebuilt the house, or built a new house actually. This is built in an entirely different style, a more up-to-date modern house. And that's probably how it looked in maybe 1940. And that's East Walk in the front, and we're again standing in, we're probably in Barbara Bizzone's corner yard for that picture. And this group of pictures have been courtesy of Michael Pinto. Some of them were pictures that Ted Pinto had given me. And of course, this is the dock. Some friends or relations of the Pintos. And of course, this is the 20s too. Very simple little dock then. This is Ted and Michael Pinto's grandfather. Finished with a day's clamming. This is one shot looking towards the Surf Walk. The two-story house is one of the ones that you saw in the bay pictures that ended up in the bay after the hurricane. And where there was a path in the last photograph, there are now laid down boardwalks and on the sand, and it looks like that is South Walk. So is today. Now Maggie McCorkle, who freely admits to having been out here since water was invented, tells me that on Sunday nights, when everybody had to go back, their friends, their lovers, their wives, their husbands, whoever, would all go down and, of course, stand around and wave everybody off. We do that in a more modified way today. I guess we do it out in the dock. But in those days, they just threw themselves in the water, swam out to the boats, and waved everybody goodbye.